There was a lot of uncertainty among everyone, I think, from the standpoint of what was going to happen next kind of thing, and the world's been turned upside down, and what do we do now kind of thing.
There was certainly a feel that things were not where we wanted them to be, and then yeah, you had the sale of the company that it was just going down, and a lot of other things. So there, just a tremendous amount of uncertainty, and
there was a lot of anxiousness around what the acquisition meant, how that was going to look for us, and what that meant for somebody that was well established in their career. What was I going to do to me? What was I going to do to the office I worked at? And so there was a lot. 10 years ago we were worried about it. So to be here 10 years now and seeing how successful we are, it's pretty amazing.
We had grown really, really fast in terms of taking on a lot of large work that we didn't typically do. And I think we were outpacing our systems, our expertise, maybe even our maturity at dealing with that type of work. And you have a family that says, hey, we can no longer run this company. We need to sell the company to somebody else, because what you got to think about is the family was trying to do the right thing. They did the right thing, and that is they wanted to place their employees in a good spot. But what I was hearing was, we don't need to be sold. We can do this on our own. We don't need to be a part of another company. Who are they? They're going to tell us what we need to be doing. It's going to all change. So that was kind of on the negative side. And that was really the red thread through those conversations that I was hearing and having. And then on the other side, if you're really thinking about where we could go, and really knowing that we were complacent and we had a lot of room for improvement, it was more of a, we need to do this in order to take care of all of our employees and move forward. And so you had this, we don't need another company, and you had the other camp saying, we really do need another company if we're going to be as good as we can be.
Back in January of 2013, Flintco was a 105-year-old family-owned business. They had made the decision to sell the business, and Alberici, another family-owned business, was about 100 years old as well, bought Flintco, closed January 2013, and that's when I got involved. And I was doing a lot of work out of the Tulsa office, but also traveling around quite a lot. And I would say by April of 2013, I was feeling that maybe Alberici had made a mistake. Flintco really knew how to build. Flintco had great client relationships, some that spanned many, many decades, but there were just so many issues with the business. And frankly, the culture of the business wasn't where it needed to be in light of the way the industry changed in 08 and 09. I mean, I think the culture served the company very, very well for many years, but the world changed in our industry and the company didn't change. So I said, we need to make a change, and we need to make a change like right now. And when I say change, it was really from a performance and accountability standpoint. It was getting rid of this sense of entitlement and unconditional love and turning it into an organization that could tackle challenges and take on problems and do it all very, very successfully. And so sitting at my desk in April of 2013 saying, we've got a problem on our hand, how are we going to solve it? And I said, I don't have the credibility to go ahead and solve this issue. Who does? And I thought of the Navy SEALs. They were doing a lot of missions at that point in time that were really significant missions from a world peace standpoint. A friend of mine had a relationship with one of the Navy SEALs. I called up my friend, and 3 days later, 3 of the guys from APG were on the phone with me saying, what problem do you want to solve?
So when we spoke to Peter on the phone 10 years ago, we just asked him, what does better look like? And to this day, 10 years later, Peter has still probably provided the most passionate answer, and he just painted this beautiful picture for all of us with his words on what he was looking for. we said, okay, hey, we're going to have a class on the standard, which is based on the SEAL ethos, which was written back in 2005. The SEAL Admiral says, hey, we need to have a standard way of doing business and lay out expectations. So he sent officer enlisted, new guys, old guys, sent them out to San Clemente Island, and they drafted this ethos. And it wasn't accepted right away because people looked at it and said, I do this every day. And the leadership, they had the chops to say, hey, if you do this every day, then it shouldn't be a problem, but we need to live it every day. So that's where the class came from. Well, as we were talking through that with the ELT at the time, I asked the question, all right, how soon can we get this on paper? And I think that was back in April, and they were like, oh, by December. And I said, no, unacceptable. We're going to go do it now.
When you were given the assignment to write an ethos, did you think that was going to be something that was going to help solve that problem?
When our boat crew was given the charge to develop an ethos, it was, and I'll step back a minute and say that I think it was a very good idea that APG got brought on board. It was an excellent idea. It was out of bounds as far as I was concerned, because it took away from the senior management of this corporation that nobody knew about, enforcing a whole bunch of new rules and requirements, and this is how we're going to do business, and it's different. So the APG event introduced a lot of different characters, and it really developed an impression on us that this is why you need to do things this way.
There were some questions about what's your mission statement, and oddly enough, looking around the room, very few people even knew there was a Flintco mission statement at that time, which meant that it was not something we valued, right? And so our goal leaving the big group to break out into the small boat crews was to come up with this ethos.
Every company, business-wise, has a mission statement, right? That tells you about their business, what's important to them business-wise. This was about our people. This was about getting the right people on the bus. This was about encouraging and developing those people who could get something completed for you and you could count on.
Yeah, so our group got together right here. There wasn't a whole lot of structure given to us. It was basically, you guys got to come up with something that you stand for, something you can put on the wall, show people this is who we are. That was really the parameters of the discussion, and so with that limited information, it took some time. There was a lot of silence there before we really started that brainstorming part of it, and just starting to throw some bullets up against the wall.
We really wanted to lay down a culture for the company, the values of the company, and really, I think when we were sitting down here writing it, it was, what does it mean to be a part of the Flintco community? So we tried to capture all of that. Now, it wasn't necessarily reflective of what the Flintco community looked like at the time, but it's what we wanted it to look like.
One thing that came to mind pretty quick was, our company being founded in 1908, there was a tremendous amount of history and heritage that was there, and we didn't want to forget about that. We knew we had some of those problems that we had to deal with, but at the same time, we could not forget about all those years and heritage that our company had. We started talking about not being complacent, not being mediocre, if we're not winning, we're losing, and success and all those things. I think we really hit it well, acknowledging our history, preserving it, but yet being progressive and wanting to get better and improve as we go forward.
To me, committed to the success of my team and my coworkers means that we're there to support them, provide them the resources they needed, that they need to do their jobs, be it technology or mentoring, training, pairing you up with somebody who's got 20, 30 years of experience and making sure that you're learning from that individual, and essentially making sure that you're always training your successor.
So the notion about results driven, I think also you have to pull in the honesty, integrity with that. A lot of people will say, well, you're results driven at any cost. You're going to get the results no matter what, but not at the expense of anybody. And that's where we're going to be honest about how we approach business, and we're going to have integrity when we do it, but we are looking for these results.
Yeah, so creativity and innovation, You know, it's fascinating. We've got a lot of younger people that have these ideas and maybe some things that people that have been in the business and are very seasoned people just maybe haven't thought about. And so those words really create that pathway for those younger people to, and anybody in the company, to speak up and, hey, if you've got an idea, let's hear it. Maybe we don't implement all those, but we want to hear all those ideas, and you never know which one could really be a big improvement for the company or lead us into new things.
We don't want to be mediocre. We've got a lot of those contractors in our market. And I think that's the one thing that I see our team say, look, we can do better than that. And this idea of mediocrity is what separates us from the competition.
So thinking about our training, that our training's never done, that there is no finish line, I think that ethos perfectly underscores this idea that we have so many people that have a wealth of knowledge within our company. We're always standing on the shoulders of those who came before us. So it's our job, in whatever role we're in, to take that knowledge that we have and train that younger person and share those experiences that we've learned throughout our career with them to develop them into a better employee and to someday be potentially future leaders of our business. And it's a constant reminder to always keep training, and again, there is no finish line.
Community is important because I think you have to take care of the community that is ultimately taking care of you as a company. It's that simple to me. I think we all have an obligation as employees, as individuals, and as a company to reach out and to invest in our community, whether it's time, whether it's our treasure, either way makes an impact. And I think that for me, and I think for some, a lot of my teammates, there's just a sense of fulfillment, like we're contributing back to the community. It's not about taking from the community all the time and earning dollars and building, buildings. It's about, hey, I need to do this because I'm helping someone and I'm getting fulfillment out of it. And I think it's important that everybody takes that step in their community and really tries to engage. It's just a wonderful experience.
So earning it every day, to me, I think that was important for, looking back on it, it's important for several reasons, but at the time of developing the ethos, I think it was important to send a message to everybody that it didn't matter if you were with Flintco for 5 years or 25 years. You had to earn that honor to be at this company. Seniority is a bad word as far as I'm concerned. Every individual ought to be evaluated on their capability and their delivery. And to me, that's what earning it every day meant, was that yesterday's not good enough for today. We're going to continue learning, we're going to continue innovating, we're going to continue developing relationships, we're going to continue developing clients. And earning it every day it kind of encompasses all of that.
When we left the table that day, it was in pretty good shape. And honestly, we went back, presented it, we challenged a lot of things, and there were some questions about if we're not winning or we're losing. It's kind of like, what does that mean? And so there was a lot of discussion. But presenting it to the bigger audience that day, I just remember the feeling of, this thing's got some legs. It's really, people feel like they're rallying behind it.
So one of my favorite parts of the ethos is really just how it finishes, where it says, I am Flintco, and I feel really proud when I say that.
I am Flintco! I am Flintco! I am Flintco! I am Flintco! I am Flintco!
It defines all of us. We all understand it. We all live and breathe it. And our clients feel that. Our jobs feel that. Our teamwork and working together feels that. So it was really a great shift from, bringing that community together, because ultimately we depend upon each other as a community to be successful.
An ethos as it sits is just words on paper. We always say that. These are just words. You literally have to get up every morning and say, this is the person I'm going to be. That is your system of accountability. It reduces conflict. So all you have to do is say, hey, you're not living up to the standard. Nobody can argue that, because the moment somebody arrives at Flintco, they know about the ethos, and they know that that is what the expectation to live up to every day is.
Been around for 20 plus years in my career now, and I don't know that many organizations, either in construction or outside of construction, that have such a clear and definitive written statement like the ethos that are the guiding principles. You see mission statements and vision statements, and those are also very important, and we have those, but this is unique to Flintco, and it just really resonated with me on something that I could stand and live behind.
The first APG event and the development of the ethos really redefined or defined how we were going to be as a company going forward. Internally, it allows us all to be accountable to each other. It defines how we're going to operate, but more significantly, it's for the outside people coming into our business. It's always hard when you're trying to hire someone new and they're trying to figure out how is Flintco, how do they really operate? And when you put that ethos in front of them, if they can operate on the basis of that ethos, they're going to be spectacular and happy inside Flintco.
Every year we put together a training budget, and in that is the cost for this APG Navy SEAL event. And I tell our folks, it's not a cost, it's an investment. And just think about your personal money, like you invested in a mutual fund or a stock, you look at it as investment to grow. You're not looking at it as a cost. And so at Flintco, we believe our greatest asset are our people. And so if you want to move the needle with your company, you raise the performance of your people. Who better to do that than the Navy SEALs? They are literally the best of the best at what they do. So they come in with our folks into this event and they train them. They train them on accountability, leadership, in the community, and collaboration and all those things. And they put us in a stressful environment and then teach us how to perform at a high level, even in that stressful environment. So at the end of the day, we're investing in our folks, which is investing in our people, and we're raising the performance of our people, we raise the performance of our company.
6, 1, 2, 3, 7.
So generally, these events are tailored to the client. So it depends on what they're trying to achieve. You could generalize and say we're looking for human performance. However, that might look a little bit different for a NASCAR pit crew or a pro football team versus a corporation. For Flintco, we have so much history with them and we've become such an integral part of helping them build their culture that I am always thinking about, okay, what is the next step? How do we advance the culture from where we were last year? Plus we do debriefs with all of the ELT so that we can get a sense of, well, what are the voids they're trying to fill, or how are they trying to grow this thing?
There's a couple things that I think make this really a unique experience. I think number one, it gets everybody the opportunity to come together across our offices and meet people that they may not work with on a regular basis. The other thing that I think is really great, not only for the company and our employees, but also leadership, is that you get to spend 2 days in close quarters with senior leadership and get to know the inner workings of the company and get to develop a personal relationship with a lot of our leaders, which we enjoy from a leadership team, but I also think makes a big impact with our employees.
This is my third time out at Post Oak for this APG experience. And every time I'm here, it is energizing. There's so much energy, everyone's contributing to it, and I just come away so excited about the future of Flintco by seeing how everybody comes together.
What advice would you give to a first-timer coming to APG after just having that PT experience this morning?
I would say hydrate, stretch, work out before you show up, and come with a good mindset. Put a smile on your face and get ready to embrace the suck.
For this year's Flintco scenario, they had to rescue a hostage, they had to acquire a bioweapon, they had to also acquire an IED this terrorist cell had crafted. And once they rounded up all these components, they had to dispose of it. My background in the SEAL teams was a lead breacher, so I work with demolition. And after putting them through the grinder for a couple of days, it just seemed appropriate to reward them by going out with a literal bang.
Does the ethos need to be updated? Does anybody ever talk about that?
You know, my view is simple, is that the document clearly spells out what our values are, and unless our values change, I think the ethos stays as it is for a long, long, long time.